Insurance Commissioner Jim Donovan's getting high praise by many attorneys and others for getting most insurance companies to sign on with the state and giving homeowners and others an extra year to settle claims with their insurers. But many attorneys are also saying, despite that, if you've not settled up or have issues with your insurance company, you may not want to let that deadline pass, that one-year deadline. Also, there are certain issues with dealing with federal flood insurance that are under a deadline as well. This morning, we have attorney John Houghtaling and public adjuster Earl Card with us to try and meddle through some of this, and you'll agree there's a lot of confusion in all this. And first, John, why do you think people should not go ahead and abide by that? What the insurance company is saying is an extra year deadline. Why are you saying, and other attorneys are saying, that you should file before the year is up?
Well, first off, I think the insurance commissioner has done a great job in getting the insurance companies to extend, or most insurance companies to extend the deadline.
Because other states have a much longer time. Yeah,
Louisiana is unprecedented in having one of the lowest statutes of limitations in the entire nation. We have 1 year. Our neighbors in Mississippi, they have 3 years to adjust their claims.
And in Florida, someplace for 5.
And some states even 10. So Louisiana has a particularly low statute of limitations. So I think the insurance commissioner has done a good job. The problem with this extension, or people's perception of this extension, is that their entire claim will get extended, that they have up to 2 years to deal with their claim, and that's not true. And it's a little bit of a trick there.
How so?
Because all of the parties that may be necessary to adjudicate your claim in state court will not be there after the 29th. Claims against your insurance adjuster, claims against your insurance agent, claims against...
That's not all-inclusive in this extension?
It's not. It only applies to the insurance company themselves. And one of the problems with that is the defenses the insurance companies bring up are generally twofold. They first say, if you're surprised by an extension, well, you should have looked at your policy with your insurance agent, that your agent should have explained to you that you have this flood exception or whatnot. And in the challenging of the different exceptions with the insurance policies, they're going to point to the insurance agent and say, look, your agent should have explained this, or you should have had more dialogue with your agent about what insurance to get. And if you have a question about limits, the same defense is going to be had. The problem is that after the 29th, you cannot bring a claim, more likely than not, against your insurance agent. And that is going to be a problem, because in the courtroom, if the insurance company points at the agent in an explanation as to whether you do or do not have coverage,
in your opinion, you may be left out in the cold in that.
You're left totally out in the cold, and the insurance company can point to an empty chair in the courtroom.
And now there's a different issue going on with federal flood insurance. That, of course, we're talking about wind and hail there for the most part, and also for some flood issues. But there's another deadline with flood insurance that a lot of people are not aware of.
You need to file a proof of loss. And
exactly what is that?
Well, it's a document, and it's this document right here. And what it says is that this dictates what your loss is, the cause of loss, and so forth. It's mandated by NFIP, National Flood Insurance Program, and it is your responsibility to file that proof of loss.
And there's not an extension on that automatically?
The extension is typically, you have a 60-day time period. After the 60-day time period, on August the 31st of '05, they extended that for an additional, to an anniversary date of the storm. But you have to file that proof of loss, or you lose your rights to sue.
And what does that mean? Let's say you had a maximum on flood insurance. You had the $250,000 coverage, but you got $100,000, but you do think you deserve more.
If you disagree with the NFIP's determination of your loss, you have to file this proof of loss in order to be able to pursue the additional $150,000 that you're in a disagreement on.
Now, if you maxed out on your insurance policy, you have no claim.
You have no claim.
And now, is this an issue that lawyers are getting involved in as well?
Well, the flood insurance is a separate issue than your homeowner's insurance.
Yes.
Most people,
but they do. But most homeowners do tie the two together, because if you've got flood and wind, you're trying to get both.
They do. And the problem with the homeowner's insurance of not filing is you may have a claim against your insurance company alone, but you won't have a claim against your agents. And you also potentially, one of the main defenses that the insurance companies are bringing up is, well, we don't agree with what your contractor is saying your house is going to cost to rebuild. they'll suggest that the contractor's charging you too much for sheetrock, for labor in the post-Katrina world. And one of the things that is important to have in the courtroom is if the insurance company points to your contractor and says, well, look, they're charging too much, if you have the contractor in the courtroom with you, then you can adjudicate that at the same time. And if you wait past the 29th, you may also lose that right.
So what both you are saying right now, if you have flood issues or you think you have wind and damage issues, and even though there's an extension on the wind and damage with most insurance companies in this state, you're advising, and many other attorneys doing the same thing, to go ahead and just to be sure, file before that one-year deadline.
Well, it's more than just to be sure. You are going to likely lose your claim against your agents. You're likely going to lose your claim against potentially gouging contractors. You're also going to likely lose your right as to where to file. You are not likely going to be able, if you don't have those parties in your lawsuit, you're not likely going to be able to file in a state court parish in which you live.
And again, quickly, this sworn statement of proof of loss, it has to be in
by the 28th.
By the 28th, and you can do that. How can you get one of these?
You can get it off the internet from NFIP, or you can, that's the best way to get it is get it off.
All right,
the internet.
And we're going to try
NFIP.
and scan a copy of this, get it on our website to try and help people out. But is there a website for NFIP?
NFIP is National Flood Insurance Program.
So if you Google National Flood Insurance Program, you can probably get their website.
Correct.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. And again, this is a very controversial and complicated issue.
Yes.
All right, thank you for coming in.